Real quickly before I get started, I forgot to say this in the video itself, so I'm editing it in before. If you have full body, you can't use VRIK. You have to use full body biped IK right here. I don't have full body, so I am not going to be very much help with actually setting this up, but that's the fix. This is just going to be a quick, unedited addendum to my previous video where I showed you how to dynamically reparent objects using FinalIK. In this video, I am going to go over how to do the two-handed function that I showed off in the beginning demo because I've been getting a lot of questions about that, and it's honestly such a simple thing that I don't feel the need to make a big full-length edited video, as well as making some corrections to the setup I had in the previous video and giving some tips for various issues that I've been getting people sending me to get help for. So first off, our VRIK execution order can actually be structured differently. We only need one element, and it only has to be VRIK. All this is going to do is tell Vrchat to solve all of the other scripts that you're going to be running after VRIK, instead of specifying limIK and CCDIK after it. Having just one is going to say everything else should go after, which is exactly what we want. This being enabled or disabled is also something that I've been asked about. It doesn't matter, but if you have it disabled, then you're going to spam the console with a bunch of weird null reference error. It's not going to affect anything. All your systems are going to work, but it will fill your console if you care about that. Also, about our IK setup before, previously I said that object 1 in the IK chain should be at the 0 position, and object 2 should be 5 over. Now, object 2 should still be 5 over, or really any amount that's far enough away. But object 1 in the chain, for simplicity and also to eliminate a small dead zone in the center of the object, can also be configured to be in the same position as the object you want to move. So here IK1 is in the exact same position as the third object in the chain, and this is going to work better in some cases, and at the very least it's going to work the exact same, thanks to CB for his comment on my previous video explaining this. That's pretty much all of the addendum stuff out of the way. I'm going to really quickly go over how to do the two-handed thing now, and all that I'm going to do is make it so that the endpoint of this rod here attracts to the sphere. So this is a very basic limIK setup. As you can see, it is configured in a pretty similar way to the last one, with world particles on the object that are fixed. So now we want the tip of this to face our target and our particles to align correctly. All we're going to need for this is an additional empty object. We're going to call this CCD. This isn't necessary, but like I said in the previous video, I like to keep my scripts nice and organized on separate game objects so that when I'm animating them, I don't have to go through the path to find the object that I really want to be animating. I can just animate these placeholders that have the scripts on them and nothing else. Now, our cube is going to need two additional references. It's going to need basically a pivot point and the free point that faces and moves to the target. We can do that really, really easily by just duplicating our object and moving it back up a layer. These aren't necessary, so you can just remove anything, make it an empty game object, and obviously delete the particle system underneath it. I'm going to call this CCD1. That's pretty basic. CCD1 in our object orientation is going to be where we want our dominant hand to be, or the handle, or the pivot point, or whatever. Now we need a second root, and this one is going to be, you guessed it, CCD2, and this is going to be the point that is at the end of your pivot and is going to follow your target. Then we can simply just put our cube back at the end of this. And in our limIK script, instead of referencing our cube, we're going to be referencing our CCD1 object, because we want that to be moving independent at the end of wherever we're setting up our limIK. On our CCD object, we're going to add the CCDIK component, turn off fixed transforms like usual, set the target to sphere, and we're going to click this button to add two bones. These bones are CCD1 and CCD2. Now we're going to remove the weight from the second bone so that it can freely follow the target, and to keep the weight on the first bone at 1 so that it stays at its own position and rotation. Turn the entire object off in order to disable it, and if we enter play mode and then enable the script, you can see that everything is working and the particles follow just fine. This is an incredibly easy way to get two-handed functionality out of your objects, and it has the added benefit of not messing up your world particles that are on the objects from the get-go. Just like limIK, this will fix your world particles that are on your objects and generally make animating a lot easier because you're just animating exactly what you want where you want it instead of having to animate the particles outside of everything. And if we turn it on again, you'll see that it just sort of works. You can see why I didn't want to make a full video about this. That's all I have today.